And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are now speaking to free agent relief pitcher. Could be a Yankee. Let's hope. Mr. Buck Farmer. Buck, what's up, buddy?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just trying to entertain the kids for a little bit. Just had to throw some pizza on the countertop for a minute, let them fight over it. So
I like the hair, Buck. I like
appreciate it.
Hair. I mean, you look like Joba's long lost brother. That's what you look like. I mean, you guys kind of. I mean, if Joba shaved that beard, I mean, I think you guys look a little alike. I don't know. I mean, am I wrong, Joba?
That's an elite beard, Joba. Elite beard. Keep it.
I always. I'll never shave again.
Well, don't say never. We got to bet.
Well, yeah, you're about to lose your bet with Owen. So
no, actually, I won that bet with Owen. Just so you know.
Well, yes, you won the $50 bet, but not the one where you have to wear a dress and put makeup on.
What was the bet? We didn't even make that bet, did we?
Yeah, you did. Top 5 is Shedeur Sanders going to the Giants.
Oh, that's right. I said Shedeur Sanders is not going to the Giants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
But
I remembered. Look, I admit it. So I'll wear a dress. I'll wear a dress. I'll wear lipstick. I'll do whatever anybody. If I lose that bet, I will absolutely wear a dress, lipstick, and a wig during the show. I said I would, but Owen's going to have to do the same too. So
no, I agree.
But anyways, go ahead.
Buck remembers this as much as I do. I remember when Buck got over and got to the big leagues. Remember in our pitcher meeting, we had a guy named Al Albuquerque. Yeah. And so we just introduced Buck Farmer as like coming into our bullpen, right? And literally Al Albuquerque stopped the meeting. He goes, "Your name is Butt Farmer?"
I remember that. I tell that story to this day. He honestly didn't know our bullpen coach's name.
No,
it didn't, and he'd been down with our bullpen coach for 2 or 3 years. And they asked what my name was, and he was like, "Yeah, it's Butt Farmer." Butt Farmer.
He was like, "Your name's Butt Farmer?" We were all like, "No, it's Buck." Like he had no idea. It was one of the most funniest moments I've had.
You said you pissed yourself. Is that true?
I leaked a little bit. Well, because I couldn't stop laughing because we thought, but if you have to know Al to understand, like he was serious. Like it wasn't like he was joking. And he was literally like, "Your name Butt Farmer?" And we're like, we all kind of paused for a second. And obviously Buck's the new guy, so it's like he can't really say anything, right? And we're like, "No, it's Buck Farmer." And he was like, "Oh." And I literally could not stop laughing.
Who is this guy? Who is he? What is his name?
Al Albuquerque.
Wow, what a last name, Albuquerque. Isn't that like that's a city, isn't it?
New Mexico, yeah.
We had some good times in Detroit.
Oh yeah, especially with Al. Al made some good times, that's for sure.
Oh,
did he actually go to college?
He's from the Dominican.
There, I rest my case.
Yeah. Wasn't very fluent in English.
That's probably why. I mean, me and before you came on, Buck, we were arguing when I was saying. They were saying that I was saying ball when I was saying bowl. And he's like, "You're saying ball?" We were talking about the college ball games, and he says, "Is it ball or bowl?" It's the way my enunciation is ball, but it's bowl, obviously. Anyways, Buck, obviously Cincinnati in the beginning of the season looked like they were a borderline playoff team. You guys were playing pretty good baseball. And then again in the second half, you had a lot of woes, some injuries, and you guys kind of fell out of the playoffs once again this year. What happened this year?
And we just had a lot of key injuries, I think, honestly. Whether it was for, a pitcher for 2 weeks or 2 months, or I mean, we just had guys go down that were really important. TJ Friedel hamstring, then comes back and breaks his thumb. A week after he came back from being out for a month, and I mean, we just had guys that were big contributors last year and got us to where we were last year that just kind of had a few injuries this year, and we just couldn't put it together when we didn't have those guys on the field.
Buck, what do you think too in the aspect of like knowing the quality of what you guys have? Like, what do you think you're missing?
Um, you know, I don't think we're really missing a whole lot. I think it's the one big thing we had a tough time doing this year, I think, and this job is it's really tough to put together hitting and pitching both or defense at both at the same time, and it just seemed like every time we would hit the ball, we'd still give up runs or vice versa, and I just think that's what kind of there was I felt like there was very few weeks this year or very few months, even days that we put together just complete baseball games.
So you had one of the most exciting players in baseball, Ellie De La Cruz, having a phenomenal season. He was in the National League an MVP candidate right behind Otani and Lindor for most of the season. Like, what was it like watching him all year? And what is he like on and off the field?
I mean, he's incredible, man. I thought he was going to get 100+ bags this year. I really did. He was on pace to, and it just kind of got, later in the season, just kind of got out of his comfort zone. I think a little bit at the plate, and but man, he's such a good dude. He's actually very down to earth. Hangs out a lot off the field. Will sit there and I guess the biggest thing that just kind of tells you who he is he started doing his post game interviews in English, so he just made it a point to learn English just so he could kind of hang out and be with the guys in the clubhouse.
It's and by the way, we are talking to free agent relief pitcher Buck Farmer. He's pitched from 2014 2021 with the Tigers. He actually pitched with Joba before Joba retired, and the last 3 years he's been with the Reds. There was a big trade that happened this offseason. Jonathan India, a guy that a lot of people were looking at. He was one of the more talented second basemen in baseball. I know the Yankees were very interested in him last year. But he gets traded to Kansas City. Also, Joey Wiemer gets traded, but you added Brady Singer. What was it like playing with somebody like Jonathan India? I heard he was a really good leader and a great person in the dugout. What type of player was he? And by the way, him going to Kansas City, what type of player will he be in a lineup with Witt?
And I don't see him changing at all. But and I can't say enough about Indy. He that's the guy you actually is I guess when you think about the Cincinnati Reds, that's the guy I feel like you think about when it comes to just putting your nuts on the line every day. Like, he was banged up all year. He was not comfortable. I mean, majority of the year, but it didn't keep him from playing, man. It was one of those things, he'd go in the training room and say, "Hey, just tape me up, get me through the game, when we'll readdress it tomorrow." And that's just who he is as a person. I mean, he's going to give you just everything he has that day, and that's all that's what he's gonna do every day. So, I mean, he's a great dude in the clubhouse, great leader, and one hell of a player. I'll say that.
You're muted, Joba.
Buck, what do you what do you want to see for the rest of your career? Like, I mean, we've talked, obviously touched on teammates and other stuff. Like, what do you want to see for yourself? And to play as long as you have is kudos to you, man. And you've grinded your ass off, and I was part of that, and I saw how hard you worked. But like, what do you want to see for the rest of your career?
Man, I I'm not going to ask for too much here, and I just want to play the game for a few more years and just kind of see where it takes me. I'd love to be a part of a playoff team. I got a brief glimpse of that, in 14, but obviously it wasn't, it was going to be kind of tough to crack that playoff roster right there. So, Man, I think that's all I look for, man, is I want to go to the playoffs one of these next few years and just experience that. Everybody's going to sit here and say win a World Series. Shit, everybody'd love to win a World Series, but like, you know, um, getting the opportunity to chase that is what I look for.
Yeah, so one of the big controversies this year was the pitchers getting hurt, and a lot of the players' union was blaming the pitch clock and a lot of these new rules. I know Tony Clark came out and made a statement about it too. So, what are your thoughts on the way that the new rules have impacted a lot of these injuries for both starters and relievers?
I mean, it's honestly it to me this is basic science to me, or not science, but more so like physical science and like anatomy and everything like that. And when it comes to it's proven. Like I've sat down and looked at this a lot actually, just because um, I love being in the gym and stuff like that. And it's actually a proven thing that for X amount of time that you're working, it's supposed to be double and or triple the amount of rest time or recovery period. So in actuality, and up until this past 2 years, right, we've had that time. Now we don't. You're asking somebody to go out there and go 100% for, let's call it, 15 minutes in a row with 30 seconds of rest time, and it's just not going to happen. Guys are throwing harder, they're getting stronger, stuff like that. So rest periods are more needed now more than ever. I'm not saying you need to bump the clock up to, you know, 3 minutes between pitches. I mean, that's outrageous. But it's like, I mean, you're talking what, I don't even know what it is. I don't even pay attention to it anymore. It's become such a joke. It's like 8 seconds. What's it? 15 seconds between pitches now.
20 and 25.
Okay,
And
20.
reduced with runners on base too now.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's just, and I don't know. I don't know. I think we just did a really bad job when it comes to giving the I don't even know what they call them anymore, the on-field committee or whatever, the ability to implement any type of rule that they see fit.
The man for nights. The man for
Yeah,
nights.
I mean, it's just. I mean, I'm gonna put it out there. I think in a few years you're gonna see the pitchers pitching from second base, man.
Well, Buck,
I mean, or we're gonna have to tell hitters what's coming.
Buck, I
Shit,
agree, because Carter's now a freshman in college. As weird as that probably is to hear, right? But he actually just did one. So he's going to be in dead week and then finals. He's a freshman in college. He actually did his story on the pitch clock.
Yeah, I mean,
and obviously called me and whatever, but the injuries that we've seen and everything that we've done, and I had the fortunate opportunity to live with Dr. Andrews, so I had the lab, I had everything. And so when you're talking about that, I 100% get it. And that was like what Carter wanted to talk about. I was like, Dad, do you think I was always a guy that wanted to get it and go anyways?
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like if I need to take a walk around the mound, take a deep breath, rub the ball up, like, I don't want to feel like I'm punished for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And
at the same time, it's at the plate too. At the same time, it's like if he steps out, he's got to take his time, right? Like I get it. It might piss me off, but I still understand. But now I can only take 3 retractions from the mound, like whether that's a step off, whether that's a pick off, whether it just changes entire mentality where it feels like you just have to go, and your body doesn't adjust that fast. That's why we see a height of injuries.
And that's the thing is I don't know, like the thing that sucks about the whole thing is that you have to wait till a runner's on in order to get that step off or that reset, And I brought that up actually in a players union meeting or whatever. It was, nobody on, 1 out, 2 outs, whatever, high pressure, high leverage situation, the guy at the dish gets a chance to stop the clock. Why don't I? You know what I mean? Like, why doesn't the pitcher get one
Free
step
one.
off?
They get one free one.
Per at bat, or
Yeah.
even just per inning.
Yep.
You know, and it's like, but now and they said, well, you can manipulate the clock, and guess what they did? They did away with the manipulation. So it's like, I mean, and again, I think we saw an uptick. I don't know about the reliever side of thing. I know there was a bunch of injuries on the reliever side of things too, but I mean, I think the starter stuff, year ending, year ending injuries was astronomical, because now you're asking that guy to go out and do that for 7 innings and just go for 7 innings straight, and it's just like, man, it's damn near impossible.
You just stand on the mound, you stick your hand in your pants and say, oh, wait a second, the ball's not in my hands. My balls are in my hands right now. I got to toggle them. I got to toggle them a little bit, and then get on the mound.
I mean, some guys, I got to where I wouldn't even catch them, because technically they're not allowed to start the clock until the pitcher has the ball, right? And the pitcher is on, it used to be on you had to be on the dirt on the mound.
It was just the dirt. Now it's a rubber.
Well, no, now and now too, if you have the ball, that clock is going, no matter where you're at. And so I wouldn't even pay attention to Tyler Stevenson. Sometimes I'd turn around and wait, have him hold the ball and just be like, hey, look, I don't have the ball yet. I mean, can't start the clock. So
all I keep hearing is balls and rubber.
Speedy doesn't know nothing about that.
No, I care more about the balls.
I would care more about the rubber, Speedy. Jesus.
Well, especially you, Joba.
Well, I'm chopped, so I'm good.
Well, that's what I mean.
Gross.
We are talking a free agent relief pitcher, Buck Farmer. Buck, your thoughts on this deferred money that the Dodgers are using to bring in players? I mean, they just deferred some of the money for Blake Snell. It seems like every single player now they're bringing to the organization, they're deferring some kind of money to the contract. Yeah. Do you think this hurts baseball, even though it's been around for a while?
I think there's a double-edged sword for my take. I think, one, no, it doesn't hurt baseball, because essentially shows that I guess I say teams, I say a team is at least putting money back into the player market, which is great. But at the same time, on the flip side of that, it's just like, you're allowing somebody to build a juggernaut. You know what I mean? And not have any type of not have any type of cost for it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you're going to have to pay him a couple $1 million or whatever it is, like Ohtani, over the next 5 years, 6 years, and it's like, all right, after he's done with baseball and you've won your World Series, it's like, now the money comes.
But I'm sorry to cut you off. You know why what really bothers me about it? And I'll tell you why it bothers me.
But they have over $900 million in deferred money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Between 5 guys. But
that's what bothers me. So think about it this way.
Everybody can do it, though.
I know that, but think about it, Joba. They have all these guys. They win all these championships. Let's say in the next 10 years, they win 5 championships. Their team cost, the organization, what it's worth, is going to go up billions and billions of dollars. Then the ownership says, you know what? We don't want to pay these guys. We're going to sell the team. That we've moved the cost of the team up because of all the championships that we won. And now we're going to sell the team and let that other guy pay all that money back in the future. I mean, seriously, that's the way I look at it. You know what? We're buying championships for the future. When we are ready to sell, we'll sell it and won't have to pay these guys.
I mean, I think it's a double-edged sword. In the respect, like I said, of putting money back into, at least back into the players, back into baseball, and in a sense,
are Are they putting it back into baseball? They're not really paying the players. The players aren't going to get paid for like 15 years. I mean,
it doesn't matter. They're still going to get paid. Pen to paper, they're guaranteed to make their money.
And you're bringing, I guess, the elite to a very, very large market team, and that's just going to generate revenue for everybody. That's the only way I see it. But at the same time, it's like the money here and now. You're allowing a team to build a juggernaut for the next, let's call it 3 or 4 years,
maybe
for
one
very, very little money. And I don't really like that. Like,
well, because they're not going to go over the CBT to where like they protect themselves in the deferred money.
Yeah,
so they're not even giving it to likes of the Reds or the Rays or anybody that doesn't go over. There's 4 or 5 teams usually, but they're deferring it so they don't go over the CBT, which I think it's like 243 or 264 somewhere in there. So they don't have to pay that to have the equal leverage on the other side of the fence. So that's why I agree with you on the double-edged sword, because it's like, oh yeah, they're cheating the system on one side. Everybody can do it, creating a juggernaut, but also they don't have to pay extra money to all the other teams, and they're still winning.
Yeah, that luxury tax would normally go into the revenue sharing pot, at which the revenue sharing pot then goes to the teams that can then allow them to spend more money. But these deferred contracts are now essentially taking money out of the pockets of these other teams while being able to build a juggernaut championship team at the same time. And I just think I think the deferred money should be up to a certain amount, and then after that, once you hit that deferred money amount, is when you have to start kind of guaranteeing contracts up front.
One of our fans has a comment, Carl. He says, come to the Cubs. They need relief pitching help for one. And he also has a question. I know you're a Georgia guy. Did you watch the Georgia State, that crazy overtime game?
Oh, yeah. I was able to watch up to the second overtime. Then I had to get an Uber home.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Farmer. That probably tells you how drunk I was. I mean, I don't even drink and I'm probably drunk, but honestly, it's crazy. I don't like what's going on in baseball. I can't stand Rob Manfred. Everybody knows. I would say this, and I've said I can't stand Roger Goodell. Rob Manfred is the worst commissioner in professional sports, hands down. And the fact
worse than Goodell.
Oh, horrible! Look what he's doing to baseball. Look what he's doing to professional baseball. To me, baseball is a storybook sport. It's everything. When you think of baseball, you think of Joe D. You think of Mickey Mantle. You think of Babe Ruth. Now you think about where baseball is going. It's become like a video game. It's like it's like baseball has become a toy for Rob Manfred. That's what it is. It's not fun to watch anymore. I mean, when you're putting a guy in the 10th inning on second base in the regular season and not doing that in the playoffs, how does that make sense? How does that make sense when you're looking at the rules and America's pastime and what the way the game was always played? I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
I'm curious to see about this whole automated strike zone. He was sure to tell us, or we've been told that it wouldn't be in the big league, or in the MLB, and it wouldn't be in the near future. But I mean, them throwing it right into AAA, man, is.
Well, reports came out, Buck, that they're going to do it in 2026.
You got to deal with it, Buck.
That might be my last year.
But they've gone as far in the Arizona Fall League. They went as far as to do check swing analysis to see and look at it.
Oh, God. And they're going to challenge balls and strikes apparently now, too, in a couple of years.
Well, they've already done it, because all you got to do is tap your head, and then they just go back and forth.
I've been challenging balls ever since I was a kid.
I think we all have. Well, at least 2 of ours works because we both have kids. So I don't know about you other guys.
I haven't used mine yet.
Use them sparingly.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, my doctor says I have a lot of soldiers in there. Speedy, how about yours?
I'll stick to my Bulls.
Well, you got to have fun one way or another, Mr. Farmer. But anyways, before we let you go, your thoughts. If you were a betting man, where
Yep.
do you see Soto going?
Oh, if I was a betting man, I gotta think Boston's gonna throw
Wow. Ooh.
something at him.
Wow.
Hmm. Interesting.
I mean,
Buck, we need to work on your head position too when you're pitching. But that's just
I'm actively working.
okay. Okay.
Well, you can. Speedy can teach you that. He's all about bending over when his dog's licking his ass, right?
No. Buck, don't believe him. He did it by blindsiding me when I was changing. I did not encourage it.
Too late. Oh, for sure.
Not embracing your
So, hey,
knowledge.
Hey, look
that.
who it is.
So, hey.
Oh,
How you doing?
how you doing?
Hey.
How old are you?
4.
That's
4.
two. You need
Four.
two more. You need two
Four.
more.
4.
There you
Buck,
go.
Oh,
Buck, clean it up. Get him to team 4. Let's go.
what's your name? What's his name?
What's your name?
Forest Fireman.
Say Forest Farmer.
Oh, I like that. Forest Farmer. That's cool.
Yep.
That's a cool name.
Yep. All right. Say bye.
Bye.
I remember
He's got his jammies
I can
on and
name
everything.
I can name a couple athletes. Forrest Whitaker, remember him? I remember him. So that's a pretty
Forrest
popular.
Griffin.
Forrest Griffin. Yep, the MMA fighter, UFC.
He was a teacher.
Yes, he was, and he was also a police officer.
Now the real question is how Albuquerque would pronounce it.
Say hey.
Hey.
Oh,
There's my daughter.
Hey,
Sis.
how old is she?
She's 5.
5. Oh man, they're young, man.
But you got busy after me, dog.
3. Yeah. It's not, hey, these are the only 2, and we're done though. We're out of the market. We're out of the market. Say bye.
Bye.
Don't tell your wife that.
Oh, I've already told her multiple. She goes and holds one of our neighbors has a baby, and she keeps saying holding it and saying this and that. And I'm like, factory's done. It's closed. Oil well's dry. Rain dry.
Tell her to clip the wiener, right, Speedy?
Yeah.
that'll be up to everyone that involves with wieners. I'll stick to my Bulls.
Well, somebody's got to have the scrotum, right, Speedy?
Not gonna be me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really, Joba.
Anyways, Buck. By the way, I think the Yankees need some relief pitching. So maybe we make a phone call to Brian, aka Joba's hatred man, Cashman, and because we all know Joba can't stand Brian, and reach out to Brian. We need some relief pitching. Why not reach out to Mr. Farmer? Would you pitch in Yankee Stadium?
I'd pitch in Yankee Stadium. I don't know if they'd like me, especially after I shave my beard off. But
I like the hair. So as long as you have that nice hair, I mean, I think Yankee fans will love you. I mean, you have like that mullet like look. I mean, that's cool. That's like that Southern mullet look. So,
yeah.
Look at that, man. I mean, New York needs those mullets. Okay, so I agree with you. I think we'd love you and your personality. You have a great personality. I think New York needs that personality. And for years, we've always had good relief pitching, but we haven't had personality. I mean, the last person that we've had with personality in that bullpen was Joba Chamberlain. There he is.
That's right.
There. So there you go. So, and you know Joba, he's got some personality. There's no question.
Speaking of beards,
personality.
Speaking of beards, also in the comment section, shout out to M. Ryan Day's beard is Ohio State soft, and Carl says yes on the Ryan Day comments.
Well, he's got soft in his pants, right, Speedy?
Well, he clearly has no interest in joining any brawls, so I guess so.
Anyways, Buck, we really appreciate the time.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
And you're going to get a job. You're going to get a job.
I hope so. Fingers crossed. But appreciate it. Thank y'all for having me again. And look forward to hearing from y'all soon.
Yes, and man, make sure you strap it up if you don't want any more kids.
Oh, I will. I always put a helmet on my soldier.
Make sure you get on that rubber.
Both ways. Both ways.
Both ways, in many different ways. Don't toggle, right, Speedy?
Don't toggle.
Anyways, Buck, we really appreciate the time. We'll
Yeah,
talk to you soon,
thank
buddy.
you. Sounds good. Have a good one.
Good to see you,
Buck
Buck.
Farmer,
Good to see you.
ladies and gentlemen. Oh, he's fantastic, Joba. And you know him. How crazy is that? You played with him. He's got a great personality. He really does.
His rookie year, it was interesting. It was absolutely. He was such a great kid, like coming in and just the understanding of what he was doing. He was great, and glad to see his career is kind of lengthened and done what he's done. And I'm always happy for everybody that I've played with to see their success, but more happy than anything, to be perfectly honest, is now he's a dad, and as a 5 and a 4-year-old, and my son just is in 19. He's going to be 19, and I'm just like, man, you guys knew him, and Buck saw my son grow up, and so that's the cool thing. So it's cool seeing his kids more so than, I mean, it's going to sound kind of stupid, but seeing his career, and obviously you watch your former teammates and whatever, but like now you're a dad, and you know what matters and why you do the things you do. So it's pretty cool to see.
Oh, I'm not a father yet, and I definitely want to experience being a dad at least once. As everybody knows, I'm 42 years old, but I do want to experience being a father. It's something when I was a kid growing up, I never would have thought I wanted to be a dad. And it took until I was like in my late 20s to see many different people have children and be around my nephews and my niece and getting a chance to see how they've grown and everything like that. And I'm around kids all the time. I love children. I'm not a big, old person fan, I ain't going to like those old homes and taking care of them. That's not my thing. I can watch a kid running around and occupy a kid. But when it comes to, no offense, I'm not taking shots at Pops. Okay. Don't worry, Pops. It's not against you. I'm just not one of those guys that can go to like a home and sit there and play chess with an old person all day. It's not my thing. I'd rather be running around with a kid throwing a football, or throwing a baseball, or playing, whatever, playing catch with them. That's my thing. But
well, at the same time, one of it, Carl just said he's 42 and has a 2 and a 3-year-old. So you still got time.
I got time, yeah, but I'm getting there. I'm getting up there in age, and everybody keeps telling me, as you get older, it's harder to keep up with those kids. So it's definitely something. And Joba, you're what, 38 years old, and
it's still hard for me to keep up with him, and I'm way younger than you are.
Yeah, well, you're not way younger. Well, hold on one second, Joba. What are you saying? I'm an old man? What the hell?
Well, I'm just saying, like, my son is way older than if you would start now. Like,
Well, you had him young. You had him when you were like 17, 18 years old.
Junior in college.
Yeah, you were a kid when you had your kid.
Yep.
So, but it's great when you watch a kid grow up the way you have and still be at that age where you can throw a baseball and be competitive and compete with them in all the other sports that you want to play against them. So that's fun. It's always great. But I this is why I stay in shape. One of the main reasons why I stay in shape is because when I do have kids, I want to be able to run with them and throw a baseball and play basketball and do all those things that a father wants to do with their kids. So I want to experience that. That's something that I've always wanted to do.